Hi there. We're back looking at another 9-mark question from a past exam paper. This was a paper 1 question, and it's all about the reviewing role of a human resource manager. So let's look at the question. Managers, as we know, undertake a number of roles. Analyze how the reviewing role of a human resource manager can improve the performance of a workforce. What do you think that question is all about? Maybe pause the video, have a think about how you might respond to it. Unpick the demands of the question really carefully to make sure that your response gives the examiner exactly what is required. Well, as always, we take a look and we try to work out where our argument or arguments need to start from. And it's very much, this question is about this role, the reviewing role of a manager. And the context we're given is of a human resources manager. And where we need to get to is how and why that role, the implementation of that role, might improve the performance of the workforce. So we have to focus on improving the performance of the workforce. Don't worry about considering how it might not improve the workforce. Just stay focused on improvement or benefits of workforce performance. How many arguments do we need? Well, looking at that question, I suspect that's singular, isn't it? Analyze how. So we probably only need, well, I think we do only need one well-developed paragraph to respond and meet the demands of this question. Well, this is strange, wouldn't it? Paper 1, because we don't often get given much of a context in paper 1. And therefore, we usually have to try to make up our own examples and context to help season our analysis with some good application. However, in this question, I think we are helped because the context here is very much clear. It's about human resource managers. So not a finance manager, not a marketing manager. And of course, it ought to be because we need to get to workforce performance. So the kind of things we might develop in our response might be around how a manager, an HR manager, might look at the performance indicators of the HR operation, for example, perhaps around productivity or labor turnover, employee retention, for example. It might take a look at reviewing how effective the human resource flow is, for example, the recruitment and the selection and the training of employees. And it could also take into account identifying issues, problems, perhaps, for example, in employer-employee relations. So lots of reviewing roles that an HR manager might do. What you need to do is really just pick one big one and develop that in your analysis. Well, I've had a go at doing it. If you want to have a go, now's a good time to pause the video. Have a think, maybe don't even write the whole paragraph out, just have a think about what your point might be. And then when you're ready, take a look at mine, see what you think, see whether you think it meets the demands of this question. Don't forget 9 marks, so no evaluation. We're going to use our PCAN approach here that we always use in Grade Booster. So we're going to state our point, our PE, and once we get to that first full stop, that's it. Don't start to analyze or apply until we've stated our point. And then what follows, hopefully, explains how and why the reviewing role of an HR manager might help improve workforce performance. Let's take a look. Here's our first paragraph, our first sentence. Workforce performance might improve through an HR manager monitoring and taking remedial action where key HR objectives are not being achieved. So it's the monitoring part of this reviewing role that I want to focus on. And let's get into a bit of application. For example, an HR manager might monitor key performance indicators such as employee retention and labor turnover rates and compare them with both internal objectives and close competitors by using benchmarking. Let's develop that further. How might that improve workforce performance? So if, for example, employee retention is falling or is below target, the HR manager might review the reasons why staff are not staying in the business and recommend actions such as better financial rewards or more flexible working options to try to improve performance. By benchmarking against competitors, the HR manager might also identify where competitors have attractive HR practices, such as better working conditions, performance-related pay, or opportunities for promotion, that the business might then consider implementing in order to improve its own HR performance. So I think there we've done a decent job in identifying how in this case, the monitoring role as part of reviewing helps identify areas for improvement. And it could be in employee retention, it could be in labor turnover, in particular by the use of benchmarking. And what I've done there is then just highlighted on the screen there some examples. And I went a bit OTT on this in terms of application because I wanted to highlight how sometimes with paper 1-9 markers, you have to create your own examples to help season and add some application, some context to your analysis. So I've tried to make liberal use of such as seasoning, our technique. So for example, we talk about such as employee retention, such as better financial rewards or more flexible working, such as better working conditions. I think if we get into the habit of doing that in our analysis, that's really going to help the examiner see that we are applying our analysis to the question. That will be it for me. That will be all I'd write. Hopefully that would get me 7 to 9 marks. What do you think? Maybe put your comments or put your thoughts in the comments section if you're watching on YouTube. Maybe even paste your own attempt at this question and I'll take a look at it for you. But hopefully you found that useful.